What's good? What's good? I do not believe COVID itself is directly responsible to the increase in the manifestation of trans identifying individuals. I think that has been something that's been brewing for a while. However, I think COVID provided the psychological environment for an increase in the number of people just due to almost the hysteria response. And this is needing to be discussed because we need to care for people who are going through mental health issues, but then also because we need to learn how to integrate these individuals into society. And I want to use the two examples to kind of highlight the overall point of this video. The two examples are sports-related trans athletes, both who have transitioned from male to female in different capacities in their respective sports, swimming and skateboarding. They have then gone on to be pretty successful, quite successful. Some would say unfairly successful. And I am in the camp of people who happens to believe that it is unfair for a biological man to transition, or to not even all the way transition, to just self-identify as a female and then compete against females. And there's a whole host of other issues that this topic touches, but that's actually not what I want to address. I want to address the psychological drivers. Of course, there's a garbage truck going by right now. We're gonna use this moment to light my smoke and let the garbage truck pass. It might take an extra minute, so I'm gonna just kill time. It is literally right there. The lengths people will go to for success are on full display right now. And what do I mean by that? Let's take a look at these male to female athletes that are clearly doing this for the self-esteem that comes from the perception of success and victory. But let's extrapolate that idea out to the lengths that other people go to. Why do people pursue excellence? Material and metaphysical gains. And so if you're a really mediocre athlete with self-esteem issues, there is a direct path for you to get a huge boost and affirmation if you just pretend to play a girl and then go on to compete against girls. That's what little bitches and pussies do. We need to start calling this out for what it is. Now, I am not saying that trans people do not exist. I'm not saying that at all. In this particular instance, I am highlighting that there are men who are gaming the system. Literally, we're talking about sports, but then you can apply it to like what's going on in our prisons and our schools. Rape, Look at what's going on. All these men that are now identifying as women going into our prisons. We're getting off topic. The greater topic is the psychological drive to do whatever it takes to win, to crush your enemy. That's not a white man game either. That's a human nature game. Conquer and conquest. And that's what these little games and sports are. That's what competition is. It is a controlled and civilized outlet of conquer and conquest and domination. Physical excellence is a manifestation, or physical excellence is a way we honor this gift of existence. But how else do people go to great lengths to achieve esteem, self-worth? I talk a lot about the Matrix and the hyper-reality. We can bring in materialism and our hyper-materialistic culture into the conversation. The procurement of possessions, the acquisition of assets. People will do untoward things to accomplish these objectives. So when people shit on capitalism, I wish they would just shit on greed instead. Because the people who shit on capitalism can't even define what capitalism is, and it frustrates me. I've literally had those conversations where a person will say, oh, capitalism sucks, and I'm like, can you define capitalism? And they can't even give me a personal definition, let alone any level of an academic definition. I don't give a shit if you can't give me an academic definition, but if you can't give me a personal definition for what capitalism is and you're shitting on it, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm angry. Like, I want to embody compassion, but at the same time, I need an outlet for my anger. And so it's not capitalism, it's greed. And people will go to great lengths to fulfill their greedy desires. And we're seeing it all around us. And it's a human thing. I'm not saying anytime I talk about something, it's so hard to talk about things because then people just want to cast the light back on you. I also have a desire to obtain possessions. I don't want to live with no material possessions. I always bring things to the Tao because there's a balance to things. I want a balanced life with a balanced amount of possessions. To each their own. But when somebody's desire to obtain possessions pushes them and compels them to engage in unethical behavior, that's where we're at now in this mess of a market structure, of a political structure. When you want to talk about greed and power, success, look at the political structure and the things that people do to get into power, to maintain power. The government is a joke. And I always talk about it, and more people are waking up. And so I know I look like a crazy person making these videos, but in 5 years from now, when a lot of what I'm saying comes to fruition or makes sense, you'll understand the awakening journey, and you'll have probably been through one yourself. So it's important to have the trans conversation on a social level. God damn it. But like, let's have the deeper conversation around psychology and what drives people to do what they do, and how we can build a world where people are driven by positive motivations, by selfless motivations. Or maybe they're primarily driven by, because we shouldn't be entirely selfless. You must be selfish, balance. We're just out of balance. and I hope we can find some soon. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good day. Much love.